Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to episode 17 of the Bat and the Bandit podcast with myself, Phil Campbell, my best friend in the whole wide world, Mr. Lee Rogers.
What is happening?
We're sitting beside each other today, which isn't the usual format for the podcast. Why are we sitting beside each other, Lee?
Because we have a very special guest on. His name is Foy Vance. How are you, Foy?
I'm very well.
Yeah?
Very well.
Good?
Yes,
I've been looking forward to this conversation with you for a long time, man. This is going to be good.
First off, thank you very much for taking the time to sit down and chat to us. We were saying when you said you would come on, yes, great, but then we're thinking, how the fuck do we keep that a secret? How do we keep that from people? Because obviously the streets would be fucking lined with people.
I know.
You'd never have so many people in inquiring about getting a tattoo and just kind of, what's happening now?
Who's that in there?
Just in for a tattoo. I know him, so I do.
All three of my Lauren fans have been lined.
But that's us, episode 17, back at Christmas. Gentlemen, how was everybody's festive period?
How was yours?
Mine was good. It was full on, as it always is. It was kind of, you know what was good about it this year was I stopped like on the 2nd of December.
Yeah.
Like I usually work up to 20th, 19th, 20th.
How does that feel for you? You're a fucking workaholic. Like,
I am. I like to be working. Well, listen, it's not like I don't work when I go home. You know what I mean? I go to work for a rest. Really, my home life's chaotic, you know. 2 ex-wives and 3 kids.
Oh,
it's no joke.
Don't tell me about it.
So yeah, no, that was good, but it was full on, obviously. But it was nice to be settled in Aberfeldy for like more than 6 days.
What does Christmas Day look like for you? Do you just traditional Christmas Day, up, jammies on, bit of presents, wee bit of fucking chilling out through the day, and then a massive feed? What's that look like?
Do you know what? It changes. I mean, yeah, it's evolving. My Christmases are evolving because of the you know, the evolution of my family type thing. So like, you know, I woke up Christmas morning, it was just me, Bonnie, and my eldest, Ella.
Oh, we love
that was kind of nice. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
We're fans of Ella.
Yeah, we had a grown up sort of Christmas morning, and then the boys arrived, and all hell broke loose. In like the best way, like they're the best at crack. You know?
See, with the two of you having young families, does that kind of reignite the magic, without to sound cliche, but the magic of Christmas a wee bit? You have almost a little bit of wonders back in it a wee bit, and you get to enjoy it, maybe rediscover the whole festive period a wee bit.
I understand what you're saying, but mine's kind of all gone now, so it is. I mean, Isaac doesn't believe anymore, you know what I mean? He just tells you what he wants now, you know?
Believe what?
Well, not to shh. Okay. Nothing, mate, don't worry about it.
Ixnay on the...
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Krampus,
speak on it.
But Christmas Day for you, I know, is a different kind of day. You have a nice chilled out day. You have a fucking medieval feast.
We have a medieval feast. I like to go for the fucking venison and the pheasant and all, and do all that shit. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I mean, I claim it. Like I'm like I cooked all that, but it's not.
You don't cook? You don't do the cooking?
I try to, but I fuck it up, man.
Oh, yeah.
I could fuck up eggs, like. No problem at all, you know
we did at our house because my sister was working Christmas Day, so we did Christmas on Christmas Eve. So all the fun of Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, it's just sandwiches. Sitting around in your pajamas, eating Christmas sandwiches. My 11-year-old niece was there, so she's fucking still full of the joys of Christmas. So again, even being woken up early to open presents and just the delight as she's ripping through stuff and all that kind of jazz, it's fucking class. I always say I'm not a big fan of Christmas until it rolls around. Yeah. And you can't help but almost be a wee bit enveloped.
It's the fucking run-up. The run-up kills me, man.
There's so much pressure attached to it too.
Yeah,
I try to get everything I need away from Belfast. You know what I mean? I try to run about grabbing shit. And there's some certain shit you need to go into Belfast for. It's a fucking nightmare.
Christmas, I've been off the drink for about 3 months. And then Boxing Day, I decided I was going to have a few beers. How'd
that go?
Ended up boxing, did you?
Oh, fuck me. About 2 cases of fucking harp later, I got hammered. Absolutely hammered. And I was thinking, I'm doing it. I'm like, why the fuck did I ever stop this? This is amazing. I'm loving this. I'm sitting on a sofa at 2 a.m. by myself watching Batman. This is fucking class. Loving life.
In your pants?
In my pants. The TV went off and I had to text Nikita how to work the TV. But I figured it out. I figured it out for you. But then the next day I woke up and I was like, fuck me. This is why. Went back to my house, and you know the kind of hangover where you're just there, and the only noise you can, you're like fucking Jacob Marley just rolling about your own house. Just, fuck! Jesus, making
Who the fuck's Jacob Marley?
From A Christmas Carol, the ghost from A Christmas Carol. Sorry, that was maybe a wee bit too highbrow for the boys. It's only because I watched the Muppets Christmas Carol.
I think that's my favourite one.
That's a fucking belter, to be fair.
Scrooged. I like Scrooged.
Love Actually, which has been ruined for me.
What do you call that cunt, Scrooged?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
He's a hero, man. I love Bill Murray.
He's a funny bastard.
I love Actually. But then as I've got older, that's been kind of ruined for me because it's a wee bit problematic, some of the stories in it.
Which one's Love Actually?
It's the Richard Curtis one.
Prime Minister one.
That has all the wee stories that kind of interwoven and there's
Is it Prime Minister?
Yeah. Rich.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
What do you call him?
The one that was in Notting Hill and Four Weddings and a
Floppy
Funeral.
Bird. What do you call him?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, like all the sort of the usual suspects in that regard. But yes, Christmas done and dusted.
Yep.
New Year was quiet as well. Didn't really do a lot, just nice and chilled out. Definitely didn't drink after that fucking.
You learned your lesson, did you?
Aye.
Hey, I like that idea of having the big dinner on Christmas Eve, and then when you open the presents on Christmas Day, you just eat sandwiches and shit. Because Christmas Day, there's too much happening.
Exactly. Well, that's what we thought. There's a lot of pressure. There's stuff going. People. That's usually when you have family fallouts is on Christmas Day because someone has to look after the spuds, so it hasn't been put on at the right time. People are falling out,
and someone's got to set up a train set.
Exactly.
It's not going to set up itself.
So you just got.
Why do you buy shit like after
and then you got
to
play with them as well. I mean,
or
you got
fucking the Legos. You know what I mean? The fucking 5,000 piece Millennium Falcon Lego.
But
still in a bag in my house somewhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Everybody got the Christmas period over them. All right then.
Yes.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
All good. Yeah.
Gentlemen,
made it through.
I wanted to ask, just for the sake of sort of a reference point, how do you two know each other?
Fuck. There's a question.
I remember the night we met. Vividly, actually. Yeah,
1998.
Yeah,
98. I was 10.
You were fucked.
Yeah. I was married.
I was getting married. I think I fucking maybe it wasn't.
Close to,
close
to.
Hell, man.
Are we aware of each other, like in sort of the musicianship field there and like that?
I walked into Auntie Annie's. We're out having a drink in Belfast. I walked into Auntie Annie's and I was already playing. Probably not very well.
Not as he was walking into the bar, you understand?
Yeah. And you fuck's sake. And this boy was sitting down the back. He had a back to front Kangol hat on.
That's a great look.
And
I was trying to get a cock for a while.
How'd that work out?
It was good. I succeeded. I've seen the pictures. I got
and I just thought that's the coolest cunt I've ever seen. So I had to buy him a pint. And from then on, I've just been stuck to him ever since. You know what I mean?
1990.
I remember having a chat.
How do you play that?
At the bar that night, and you saying that you were into music, and what was it now? Was it Generals? I got a bomb on my brother. It's General Saxon and the Robots of Death or something. I was going, what? Something General Saxon or General Citizen General.
No, that's a song of mine. Yeah,
that's an album. That's
an album.
There's some, but I remember it was the Robots of Death.
Something like that.
What were your first impressions of him?
He was very serious. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was saying that about the Robots of Death? Like, it wasn't like a joke.
I'm good. I fucking hate talking to people that know too much about these two bastards.
No, the only good thing about there's a lot of mutually assured destruction at this table because we know enough about each other. We could say ourselves. So 1998, did he get up and play? Were you playing? What was the dynamic?
My ma had just died. That was a talking point for us. I remember that.
But I remember leaving that conversation and just going, that was really interesting.
Interesting.
We had a really interesting conversation. It got deep real quick, and while you were kind of had all these wild ideas for the album that you were working on, it was conceptual, and I was thinking
a concept album,
and then it was shit. And then what happened was that Foy came and he kind of fine tuned me over the next few years, you know what I mean, and kind of helped me out a lot, and here we are, you know what I mean. Come on, all right, there we go. That's it, done.
And
no, there was that one though.
And then from that to then playing music together, was that a natural progression?
Foy was a fucking unbelievable bass player, so he was.
Okay.
Now you probably wouldn't class yourself as that, but you were to me,
not.
you know what I mean, and. So whenever I started out gigging, you gave me my first proper Belfast gig.
Was
and
it
I
the
remember
basement bar?
No, it wasn't the basement. Basement came after. It was
Fuck, I did the door in there.
Bonaparte's on the
Bonaparte's,
Cave Hill Road. Man,
yeah.
and I stood out, he couldn't do it, right? And I says, I'll do it. So I get in the fucking...
With 3 songs in your locker.
Do you know what I mean? I was like that there, and I remember standing outside that place with my hand against the wall, fucking poking. My wee PA system all over my guitar, had to walk in. All these fucking hard-looking motherfuckers in this bar, and I had to pull my wee fucking thing in, wee hat and all on. You know what I mean? Up in between them all. I'm here to play. I'm standing in for Foy tonight. Shaking, you know, with quaking voice, you know. But we'll get through it, and I ended up getting some more gigs off the back of it, and that was it. History fucking...
Man, I do not miss that shuffling in and out of the bars.
Do you remember? I was
carrying your gear.
So you're not even looking at it with sort of rose-tinted, sort of sepia-toned reflection at all?
Listen, a lot of cool
It was
shit.
graft. Was it just graft, like?
A lot of cool shit happened on stage from time to time, you know.
Right.
You know, but like the
UDA requesting you to play the same song over and over again.
That was Johnny Adair, man. What the fuck? Do you remember that?
Which in Bonaparte's?
In Bonaparte's, we had to play. We played Mustang Sally, and the boys came up and they fucking made us play it more three times or something.
Play that again.
Play that again. Stop me at Sass and stop me man down there. He was fucking. He was
play it again.
He was popping people at the time. Like, so we were like 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Mustang Sally.
And when you were doing the sort of the graft, when you were doing the Belfast circuit, where was your favourite place to play? Where had the most character?
I like the Dirty Duck, man.
Yeah,
I like the Duck.
Where was it?
Yeah. Around there, Hollywood, the promenade of Hollywood down the front.
Yeah.
It was a cool place. Is that even still there?
Oh, aye.
Is
It's still there. It's like an ale house, yeah.
Is it aye?
Yeah, it's still going, yeah.
Do you ever miss it? Do you ever miss those types of going back to sort of those wee venues, playing in front of people that perhaps maybe weren't listening until you played that one particular song? Or is there still like a wee bit of a pull there?
You know what? You
would still bounce up though. I mean, if you were in that vicinity, you would bounce up on the guitar. You've always done that. Just jumped up on other people's sets.
There's a chance to play music. I'm in.
Oh, aye.
Yeah, you know what? My favourite gig from Belfast was the Rotterdam, actually.
When it was that whenever Dean and all had it? Or was it before that?
Yeah, I mean, even before that, when Chris had it,
it
just always had a cool vibe, you know.
Rotterdam.
And Ken Haddock and I did a Wednesday night residency there for, I don't know, 2-3 years, something like that. And that was killer. I've got really fond memories of that. But, you know, I loved playing, do you remember the Northern Wig?
Oh, guy used to play up in the balcony.
Yeah, up in the balcony. Right, no one's listening.
Aye. Oh.
And it's like cavernous, and there's hardly anyone. Right, they shouldn't have been paying us at all.
I know.
But I there's something.
I always felt wicking down with your hand out. Going,
I know, right?
So that's just 150
4 people
quid,
clapped, go and give us the 100 quid.
Aye.
But there was something freeing about just singing whatever and practice. You know what I like to do was to try and make stuff up and see if I can get away with it.
Like what?
Just making songs up.
You wrote half your songs that way.
Yeah, I ended up.
So it was almost akin to a stand-up workshop and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Although to no audience.
no
one's listening.
People sit
just
like, their lunch.
Yeah, in front of people, but no one's listening.
So that's what you did sort of in those days was akin to serving your time. I suppose like an apprenticeship, if you will. Is that still as commonplace now? Because obviously you've got stuff like if somebody has,
I think it's oversaturated.
If somebody has a hit on TikTok or something,
Steve Cords is out fucking doing it. Like,
well, also if somebody has not even a good song on TikTok or something like that, even just like a hook or a chorus or something, they can blow up right now. Do you feel that perhaps maybe there's not as
no, we've been cheated a wee bit with all that there. Like, you know what I mean? Foy's just, he's in the stratosphere now, but you made it before all that. You know, you were doing great things before that TikTok thing came in. It makes it very fucking hard, I think. Whenever you get people out there who are doing terrible songs and they're blowing up all over the place, and then you've cunts like me sitting there, what the fuck am I? Why am I even bothering? What's the point? Do you know what I mean? What's the fucking point?
We talk about social media is a blessing and a curse, because obviously if it weren't for the social medias that we live in, we wouldn't have this podcast. Yeah. And we love this podcast, and we love what we do, and we love being able to talk shite. We have someone like you on, we have a conversation with you, it's fucking class. However, there is a nastiness. There's obviously a darker side to it. Do you feel that with the likes of social media, is it a necessary tool for you as an artist, or how do you feel it fits into what you're doing, if at all?
No, it definitely does. But you know what? I've always felt a very clear divide of music and industry.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's
the business
I'm in music. This is the bit I like. This is the bit that excites me.
Yeah.
And this is the bit that to keep this ship on the sea, I have to engage with this a little bit, and so social media I could utilize my social media a lot better than I do, much to the consternation of my manager and the entire team. But I don't know. Earlier on, you said, "What's the point?" I was thinking that's interesting. Like, what is the point? Like, what is why I think why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I have been doing what I've been doing since I started doing it. 23 writing was for me.
Yeah, and you still feel like that. I mean, you still have that. That's for you.
Yeah.
I went through a long time of it, kind of almost trying to write what I thought people would want to kind of fucking
writing for an audience as
do
opposed to writing for yourself.
And
maybe
that's the wrong thing to do, man. But I think it's a natural progression of that person, of that type of thing where where everything else hasn't worked. You know what I mean? And you kind of look to something else. You know what I mean?
This is actually I wanted to get into this a wee bit more. That compartmentalization between music and music industry, is that something you ever wrestle with, or you just have to accept to have one, you need the other? Do you compartmentalize that? Okay, this is a part of, because I love music, I'm enveloped in music, I have to engage, or I have to do this. Like, is it ever something that you wrestle a wee bit with the marriage of them?
That cunt has people. He's people for all this. You know what I mean?
Well, a question goes to you as well, mate.
No, fuck. Well, go ahead, Foy.
You had people too.
He has me.
I'm much happier now, man. The life's just a nice pace.
Yeah,
it's a good pace, and I'm enjoying it. See, that sitting about the house, not doing anything, waiting on your next show or your next bit of recording. You know what I mean? Because I'm not somebody that's I'm not focused enough to be able to sit and go, I'm going to sit down and write 2 great songs today. I don't have that thing. It's few and far, but now it's few and far between. If I sit down and write a song, it's because I need to get it out. It's not because I feel that I want to keep writing. You know, so this pace of life now, where I can kind of dip in and out, suits me. You know what I mean? Do
you think, had you still been with the label, that you and Gareth would have been able to write that song?
No, that's an interesting one. Maybe when they came up, if I still had been there.
Because it's a fucking belter, mate.
Thank you very
much.
It's genuine.
Have I heard this one?
I sent it to you.
Belter, I love that one.
Yeah, did you like that one? Did you?
Loved it.
You look at him, he's a cut.
How's it called?
What way did it go?
Whisper
to me.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
But what's it called? No, it's called
Words.
Yeah.
Gareth
for
a TV show.
Yeah, I remember the
TV show. If I can do that, he's like, you're not coming back on this podcast. No, I enjoyed writing that with him. Always, Gareth's he's got such a head on him that whenever you're working with him, it's intense. Do you know what I mean? He's just that intense kind of, one of these boys. You know what I mean?
He's serious too. He's real. He's there.
Fuck, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm telling
he's
you,
here.
that kid's.
The music.
We're going to get him on this.
Yeah,
he's going to come on and talk to us. So and tell some of his stuff. But I do love working with Gareth.
Yeah,
I mean, he produced my record. He co-produced yours.
He did.
Signs of Life.
Yeah, Save the Day.
He just come in. He just takes things apart and puts it back together.
He just hurt. You know what happened with Signs of Life was like,
which is fucking beautiful, by the way. It's a stunning album.
I demoed it up. I had the studio in London, and I was demoing stuff up, and then lockdown happened.
Aye.
So I had to kind of just map it out myself, and then the more I mapped it out, the more it started to sound like an album.
Yeah.
And I started saying, oh, flip, maybe I'm making the record here. Maybe I'm not making the blueprint. This is maybe it. But then that went on for so long, and it was just me. You know what I mean? Like spending a year trying to teach yourself the Darsh. You know what I mean?
How you took yourself out?
You know what I mean? It's like
it's a fucking hell of an analogy.
Do you know what I mean? Though it felt, that's what it felt. I just kind of like stopped speaking the language, or I couldn't hear. I could hear something was wrong, but I didn't know.
Do you feel like you can get too close to what you're doing yourself?
Yeah,
you need that outside of you.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes, I did. I think now more than ever, it's about having the right head. I didn't have the right head at that time. I was trying to get it, and I was sincere about it, and I was, but I didn't have it quite yet. But Gareth, I sent him one song, we were going to send it. We had a couple of producers that we were going to send it to that were lined up to work on it with me, and I said to my manager Steve, I said, look, let me send it to this guy I know back home, because I'd heard what Gareth did on the Wilfie record.
Yeah.
Which just sounds incredible. I mean, it's a beautiful record. Songs. Wilfie's great, but sonically, it's just a delight, isn't it? It's an utter delight.
Yeah.
So I called him up and I was like, "Would you be interested?" And he was like, fire me a song," and he sent it back. And that's what I like. That's when collaboration is at its best for me. It's when someone sends something back and you haven't had to say, "Go for this, go for that." Their natural instinct, you know, is kind of just ignites you.
Can you second guess yourself when you're on your own?
All the time, yeah.
Is that sort of paralysis by analysis?
Yeah, I guess that's where I got with that. Now, not so much. I don't let things linger so much now. I just go, get it done,
get it done, get it out of the way.
And with regards to sort of creativity and moments of inspiration, if you have the likes of a label saying setting deadlines, can that put, you know, unnecessary pressure? Can that even stifle creativity?
You would have deadlines from 4 or 5 different people at a time, though. You know, wouldn't you? I mean, you have management, you have publishing, you have the label.
Not really. You know what though? I don't really have deadlines. Like, you know, when a record's made, the record's done, and then
that's it.
We do we push that record. I'm a really minor artist on a major label, and I'm not saying that like I'm not being falsely humble or anything. It's just, that's an actual fact. You know what I mean? Okay. That's the situation. I can't remember where were we going with that.
We're talking about deadlines. We're talking about the likes of having
so it's not
like fuck. I was paying attention.
I know, because I wasn't. I was just sitting looking at him.
Yeah. Well,
you get lost in his eyes, right? Easy, don't you?
So there's no one sitting around.
There's nobody being like, you need a first draft in by X, Y.
Come on, you know, the people are baiting. They're waiting for the next Foy Vance record.
Yeah. So your creativity can kind of be fostered naturally then.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way. That's the way. I think like most things in my career has been default more than design. You know what I mean? Just like doing what needs done, and then learning from that.
What has been like the highlight of your career to this moment in time? What has been the moment that you just were able to stand back and go,
I think he's having it right now.
We're batting the band at the podcast.
Too much pressure on you here,
but here, no, there has to be a moment. Everybody has that moment where they can remember just standing back and looking around them and just going, holy shit, all right, these people are digging what I'm doing here. Do you remember a time whenever that was?
Do you know what?
Or have you had a few of them? Or
I've had a lot of them. Yeah. And it's gonna sound corny, but it's honest. So I'm gonna just say, like, I swear, that's what I felt the day and hour that I realized, wait, I can do music, like, and just not do anything else, and pay my bills and stuff. Like, people are doing that. You know, I was quite old, but I was making music. I was in a cover band, playing for 2 years. I was just too high and partying all the time. And you know what I mean? If it moved, it got one thing. If it didn't, it got smoked.
Fuck, I wonder what that's like.
I was in this just oblivion, and then after 2 years, sort of realized I haven't been working, doing anything. I've just been doing this.
Yeah, and making ends meet.
And he's 10 years my senior, and that's all he does.
Yeah.
He's 15, 20, you know, and then started realizing there's people making a living at doing this, and that was just never occurred to me. Yeah. Weirdly, even though I was in the band and all that, it just the mentality of it was like, this is my ceiling.
Yeah.
So the day and hour that I was like, that's it. I'm making music and I'm going to write my own songs.
That's it.
All my Christmases had come at once. I felt like I'd succeeded then.
Yeah.
Have you had a moment like that, Lee?
As regards to like realizing that you're making a living out of it?
Just like a crowning moment where you're like, do you know what? This is good. This is a level of contentment.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily need to be stratospherically happy, but just a level of fucking contentment where you're like, do you know what? Yeah. If this is the way it stays, I'm fucking good.
It's all right. It's better than most people on the planet.
100%, man. Yeah.
I'd never done any big tours or anything like that there. So whenever Foy invited me on the Signs of Life tour, in 2022, I remember having this mixed emotion of, because I hadn't played live for a long time, man. You know what I mean? So whatever, I had this kind of, I had to find almost a ritual.
Sorry, cameras on, Lee, we're good.
I had to find this almost ritual nightly, which then ended up working for me. And I remember maybe the second night at Levon's place, whenever people were fucking digging what I'd done, I was completely like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I was like, that was a moment where I went, you know, if nothing else happens after, this moment for me is what it's been all about. Standing at Levon Helm's place, that history, his drum kit, everything just there. You know what I mean? And just soaking up the atmosphere, and the people who had came to see you, who didn't know anything about me or Gareth, were fucking cheering and clapping and stuff. And I just remember going, all right, I've never had this before. This is fucking beautiful. Do you know what? And we'll have 5 more weeks to do. Woohoo! You know what I mean?
That must have been nice.
That was an amazing moment. Yep.
Those moments are beautiful, aren't they? And but it's like in the grand scheme of the whole year or whatever, or cycle of an album. That's a very small.
They're fleeting.
It's like the fight compared to the training camp and the weight cuts and
people are only seeing a very small snapshot of what that is, and it's really only what you're letting people see. People don't see like the graft or the bits that aren't necessarily the pretty or the happy parts.
And it's finding the joy in that.
Yeah,
that's the key to it for me personally. That's
being in an airport somewhere at 4 a.m.
Well, not so much that. That's always a ball ache. You know what I mean? That's always a ball ache, and traveling's not so. I mean, I can do it. You know.
What I noticed was you take yourself off a lot.
Yeah.
On your own. Which I thought was fucking fantastic. No matter where you are in the world, Foy would kind of just disappear for a day. You wouldn't see him for, you know what I mean? And then maybe see him 10 minutes before he jumps on stage the next night, you know what I mean? And I always thought to myself, that's a level.
Bastard.
No. Fuck's sake, what the fuck? Here, can I not go wee? No? Why do I have to stay here? I always thought that was very admirable, because the world, when you look at it from what it is, and you're in all these places, and we were in some weird places, like that one in Minneapolis.
I can't even remember that. I played in a lot of weird places in Minneapolis.
There was a big tar up behind us. They had to have the fucking security and all. I'd say the tour bus, and you're just looking around, you're going, and he's taking off into the night. You know what I mean? You're just going, that's balls of steel, like that's balls. I
just freely wonder where you want to.
I just want to stay close to this bus. And I seen fuck all, like, I mean, we were all around the States, and I seen nothing. I seen the fucking entrance to the place, and the exit to the place, and then the fucking the tour bus, you know what I mean?
If you're going from place to place, now I can only equate it to what sort of I do professionally, but for me personally, I'm seeing the road to the airport, plane, land, other airport, road to the hotel, venue, and then I'm doing it again in reverse. Do you almost feel it? And everything's relative to who you are and what you're doing. And sometimes I find myself doing this and being like, you're an ungrateful cunt to myself. Do you know what I mean? You're getting to do something you absolutely love, and here you are complaining about it. But it's relative, and I think it's trying to find even wee bits of joy in that, and being like, but if I do this, then tomorrow I'm going to do what I fucking love. I get to do that. Do you ever find yourself not being ungrateful, but just being like, for fuck's sake?
Like annoyed
about that process of just hotels to venues to airports, because there's a grind
to get into that sweet spot,
because there is a grind, and again, it's the part that people don't see, so you don't really have anybody you can speak to about that, because again, you say what you do to people and they'll say stuff like, oh, you're so lucky to get what you're doing, and even that notion annoys me a wee bit.
Let them have it.
Yeah,
let them. Yeah, we are so lucky to get what we're doing. Yeah, it's joyous.
But then again,
nothing but a joy. Every second of it, love it.
The missed flights, the fucking all of it
is a joy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Even again, that statement, you're so lucky to do what you do, and I know it's coming from people like a good place. But then again, I would say, maybe an element of luck, but you work damn hard to do what you're doing.
So
it's not necessarily
harder work, the luckier you get.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk to both of you about was playing live. Obviously, you've X amount of years of playing live behind you. Does it still hold that same luster? Do you
Walking on stage is still the most special thing you can do.
Yeah, talk to me a wee bit about playing live. What does that do to you, or what does that invoke in you?
I like it.
Good.
I like it. It's kind of.
Do you think it's the fruition of everything, but that walking on stage to play your music in front of people who have bought tickets for you to kind of come and sit and watch you, your personality?
Well,
your
you don't
songs.
go on stage thinking that. I certainly don't.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
I would never think about. I would never think about that at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I would never think. I think my job in that moment is to forget that they're there.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? That's the best thing I can do for them. And like, unless I'm going somewhere, they're not going to go with me. You know what I mean?
Got you.
If,
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I feel like walking on stage, the last thing I'm thinking is, oh, all these people have come to see me. I think no, they've come to hear the songs.
Yeah.
Do your job. That's what they've come to hear.
Okay,
I've come to see you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're the tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sing the song that they came to hear that
yeah.
makes them think of this person they love or the person they miss or the person they whatever.
That's actually beautiful, isn't it? Look at that.
You know what I mean? Whatever they've
come.
come for. So just go and yeah.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy it. And if I'm not enjoying it, I guarantee there's a good portion of the audience that wouldn't be enjoying it. So that's my goal is not to think about them, is to just enjoy the thing that I love, which is music.
Yeah. Is
Well,
it the same? Is it the same for you, or do you have a different approach to it playing live? Do you feel like an obligation that you need to be something, or what's your kind of process for playing live?
I feel an obligation that I need to be the best version of what I am as a musician walking on stage. I feel that, you know what I mean, and I do. And then when I go out, because I won't speak for the first two songs, you know, I rattle through them, and then I can start cracking jokes and how. But I need to do that. I need to get those 2 songs fucking nailed before I can kind of. Okay, guys, how are you? What's happening here? You know what I mean? And that's my I have a process, man. I need to walk around and talk to myself and fucking, okay, we're cool, we're good, you know. And I have this 15 minutes where I have to take myself off, and I pace up and down, and then there's a moment that I get where everything just feels lighter, where I just go, okay, that's me ready. I can go on stage now and do what I need to do. But I need to do that. If I don't do that, I'm fucked up. It just ruins my thing, ruins everything. You know, I walk on stage like, shit, hello, you know,
Pacing.
no matter what.
Gareth does a fair bit of pacing too, doesn't he?
He would do, Gareth. I mean, on your shows, he was also on your band, so I didn't see very much of him. You know what I mean? I seen him. He opened it, then it was me, then it was you. But he was also in your band, so I didn't see much of him. He was just that wee.
I just think it's fascinating with someone like him, because he doesn't break character. Like you would never know he's stressed, right?
I think he's like the rest of us. He's slightly autistic. We're all on the fucking spectrum. If you're listening to this, kid, that's not a slight. It's true.
Welcome to the club, mate. You were talking about, Lee. You know, you have that back and forth with an audience. Yeah, from going to gigs myself, there are some bands that do that. There are some bands that have that back and forth and have a little bit of banter. Then there's some bands that will come on, play the set list and go. Is that something you do intentionally, or is that just naturally something that fits into a flow of a gig for you?
That seems to just happen naturally. I've sort of a couple of songs, and I can kind of relax. And plus, when you're away the other places, the accent helps too, man. You know what I mean? I don't know whether it'd be as ballsy when I'm doing a show here or anything like that there, you know what I mean? It's sound exactly the same as us. You're a dickhead, mate, you know what I mean? And what are you getting on like that for, you know? But definitely for sure, there's definitely a get out of jail free card with this accent, like, isn't there?
Do you know what? I think I only started talking because I had so many tunings in the early days.
Bridges a gap.
Like every single song was a slightly different tuning, and I only had one guitar, so I had to, you know, I guess I talked to try and keep their attention. You know, especially if it was like a short. You've got a 5-song set before someone else comes in, it's Bedford or something, you know.
Telling jokes and shit. You were always very good at that.
Anything with joke or a story or something to kind of say, stay with me for this minute. Let's go somewhere together. And then...
what about the run of shows at the Opera House? Because I see as a venue, I fucking love the Opera House. I think there is not unlike Christmas, but there's a bit of magic in those walls. Do you know what I mean? And you can't,
I know what you mean.
And you can't help but feel that, because there's something that
lives. How long's that place been there for?
Yeah.
A million years.
So it has a lot.
That is to the day, by the way.
To the day. Today.
Are you sure? Yeah.
It's a million years. Happy birthday. Well done, Opera House.
A million years.
Opera
wow.
before opera was invented.
Because I'm a theatre kid at heart, so I would have went and seen plays and stuff there.
You're serious?
Something funny here, mate.
I'm just saying. This big cunt loves musical theatre.
I love a bit. Like, there was
fucking qualified and all that. So it is.
The best production of Macbeth I ever saw was in the Opera House, and it was
What's that?
Macbeth, the Scottish play.
Right, okay.
And then there was a play I seen, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
Yeah, I know that.
Beautiful.
I read that book.
The book was brilliant, but the stage, the production of it was absolutely brilliant. So that still holds like a lot of magic for me, and you can feel that when you go in. Was there a feeling when you were doing those gigs that like, yeah, this is a wee bit special, or perhaps a wee bit different?
Where was a place that you have felt like the fucking history in the place?
Yeah, because like in the Opera House, what I was feeling was more what was going on with the audience, because it was a completely different show. It was a request.
Yeah.
Shit! So people were shouting requests.
Yeah, well, so I would go on stage and so people would.
I don't know enough songs for that.
Yeah, right. People would email in, be like, could you play this because of that? Could you play that because of this? So I would go on, I'd play, 4 or 5 of them, and then the comedian would go out into the audience with a microphone and get a story or get a whatever, and then people would just shout free for all.
Okay.
So yeah, I was less thinking about the. I was less thinking about being overwhelmed by the venue as much as I was thinking.
The fuck, I know this.
Yeah, what
I remember this.
Yeah, what is the tuning of that song that they've requested? Like the song that I haven't played in 20 years, and I'm thinking, I'm going to give it a blast anyway. But so I was thinking more about that.
Where did the idea come from to have the comedian as well to kind of
did it work?
Yeah.
Yes,
it worked very much so, and I would do it again in a heartbeat for anyone that would want to do it. Yeah, in fact, they all liked it, enjoyed it. The audience was good for them. I think it made sense. I've always loved I've been an opener. I loved being an opener. I flipping loved it. Loads of people hated it. Yeah. But I was like, all the better, more gigs for me. I'll take any gig going. I don't care what the band is. Blues artists, rock artists, funk artists, indie artists, metal artists. Not metal artists. That was one gig in Middlesbrough. A band.
How the fuck did that work?
Mate, a band pulled out, and I had been chatting. I was booked to do this really sort of cool hall. Well, cool, on paper, cool hall. You know what I mean? They all had the right haircut and weren't sure whether to like me or not. Waiting for someone else to let them know, are we meant to like this or not? That type of place.
Right, okay.
But it was, I went to play that, and I was going, this is bullshit. This is just, what is this? And I got chatting to the guy that was running the event. We were just hanging out, and then he was freaking out. I was going, what's wrong? And he says, I've got a band, can't make it. They're stuck in traffic. Right. They're not going to be here. And I said, well, I'll cover it. He says, well, it's in the metal venue. I said, if you're stuck, I'll do it. And I went in and started with Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun.
Right.
And then did AC/DC, Back in Black. But then for the next 4 or 5 songs, just played my set. Gabriel and the Vagabond, Indiscriminate Act of Kindness.
Got them with the first couple.
And then the rest is, and it was the best gig, that was one of the best gigs I'd done in years. And I think metalers aren't bothered with that. Does it look cool? Do I look cool? They're used to people thinking they're not cool. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck about what's cool or what you think is cool. It's like, I think they listen. I think people that are into metal music listen differently because they don't give a fuck. They just like it or don't like it. I find anyway.
Is it Tom
That's
Waits?
A generalization there.
Tom Waits is signed to Epitaph Records, and he's like the only not metal artist on the label. I
love Tom Waits, to be fair.
He's fucking fantastic.
Because there's
he's a bit metal, though, isn't he?
He's a wee bag, but as a person, he's metal.
Have you heard the interview with him that was a massive inspiration for Heath Ledger?
Yeah.
That voice is fucking brilliant.
Aye.
Iconic.
Yeah. But here, did you, as soon as I seen that movie, I was like, that's Tom Waits. Aye. I was like, that's Tom Waits.
I'll be honest, in 2008 when the movie came out, I don't think I was aware of Tom Waits.
No, you weren't. No. It was probably whenever you started working
probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? Short
2011?
2010, 2011. Fuck, that's a while ago.
A long time ago.
Jesus,
man.
Getting old, mate. Getting back.
Old. 35. You going to be all right,
30, mate, I was going and getting fucking drinks. I was going and getting drinks from the shop there. I turned too quickly. my knee popped. That's the stage of life I'm at.
You can tell the fucking weather by your
About how it feels in the morning. I wake up in the morning, my hands are like claws. I have to physically unfurl them. It's a fucking joke. Like, using a comedian in the gigs, because obviously one thing I wanted to ask you about is you're a massive supporter of the arts here, home in Ireland, whether that be comedy, whether that be mixed martial arts. Is that something that's really important to you to almost champion those acts? Because the comedy, I love the comedy circuit here. Yeah. I think Irish comedy, Northern Irish comedy, whatever you want to call it, is fucking hilarious and is so completely different. And obviously with appearances on the likes of the Shane Todd podcast and things like that, is it important for you to be a little bit of a champion of those things?
Or is it just what you like?
You know what? If it was to be looked at in those terms of who's benefiting who, they're probably benefiting me more.
You think so?
I would have thought so. I mean, I don't know, but
Foy doesn't know.
I think what's going
on.
on.
No, I think that was.
Foy doesn't know how.
Hey, listen.
God love him.
Hey, listen.
I think that was
Shane
a
Todd
lovely
did
sentiment.
3 nights at the SSE.
Did he?
Yeah. Or was that a couple of years ago? He did 2 nights.
Did he
there
head out
again.
to the States there for a while as well? Was
He's
he
been,
out
I mean,
around?
he's everywhere. He's out in the States. I was out in Dubai for a bit as well there.
Yeah.
Him
He's got a
and-
show.
The first I seen him was
Coming out as well, I
down in
believe.
this theatre down here.
Yes, he did a show here in Larne.
Did
Did a benefit show.
It's very, very good.
And he was fucking hilarious.
What do you call the ball? He was funny as fuck.
Alan something?
No, the one that came on with the guitar.
Oh, Paddy Raff?
Paddy Raff, he was funny. I wasn't expecting him to be funny. Like, 'cause I see his wee reels and I'm and then when he came on stage, he was fucking hilarious. Brilliant.
I don't think I've seen that.
I think the Northern Irish comedy scene, there's a fellow, Willie Thompson, who I think's absolutely fucking hilarious, who my brother-in-law may or may not have a wee wrestling angle. My brother-in-law's a professional wrestler.
Oh, yeah?
So Willie Thompson's a huge wrestling fan, and they had a wee bit of a confrontation at the last wrestling show.
Brilliant.
So
I love all that shit.
who knows
Theatre.
what might come from that? That's a nice wee segue in the mixed martial arts, so to speak.
Martial arts, yes.
Oi, see what you did there?
Did you see that?
So,
Professional.
Yeah.
Like, we're obviously huge fans of martial arts. You know, you're a practitioner as well yourself.
Well, I'm a fan.
No, yeah, you do a bit.
I fucking seen you hitting pads, man. You're no slouch, boy.
Where did that
no
interest
slouch.
kind of come from in the first place?
A kid.
Being a fucking wee lad, that's it.
Yeah, like, you know.
I was shit scared of fighting as a kid.
Bruce Lee.
you?
Yeah.
I mean, so was I, but I mean, just, you know, I mean, all kids are about it, aren't they? You know, flinging yourself around, being Karate Kid or being Bruce.
Bruce was the big one when I was a kid.
For me too, yeah.
Me and my dad fucking renting movies out, probably same as yourself.
Yeah.
The only two cunts in the house that watched them too, you know what I mean?
and then just watching all the kind of any kung fu I could get my hands on, all those early Jackie Chan ones and all the 36 chambers of the Shaolin Temple or whatever it is.
Nitty gritty shit.
All the just, you know what I mean? I watched it all, you know, on VHS or maybe even Betamax, some of it.
Betamax, or
You're on about 36.
There's people don't even know what fucking VHS is here, you know what I mean?
That you had to fucking rewind it before you send it back to Extravision.
I know, or you get fined. You get fucking fined next time you went in.
If you didn't
Says
rewind
we're
it.
fining you 50p because you never rewind that last game. You're going, why's the fuck up? Where am I getting 50p from? Where the fuck am I getting 50p from, you mad here? Huh?
I seen you.
Can I not just take my Nightmare on Elm Street and go?
I seen you were doing wee bits with Paul Hughes recently. What a good kid.
Oh.
I say kid, he's a fully fledged man now. Like, but, you know,
Yeah.
I remember Paul Hughes when he was 16, 17, tearing up, fucking destroying the amateur scene.
I sparred him.
Beating up grown men, like.
It's like sparring a fucking octopus.
But,
It's like sparring an octopus.
but even then, at 16, 17, 18, you could tell that he was going to be special because he had this sort of, not arrogance by any stretch of the imagination, but a real self-assuredness.
Oh, aye.
Like he knew that he's digging his heels in and he was going to
Oh,
be
he was
something
confident,
special.
like, because even after that spar that day, he gave the touch gloves and he went, "Good spar, mate." I went, "Get on." You know what I mean? Full-grown fucking man. You know.
But to see what he's doing now is class. Like he's going to have.
It's just incredible.
He's going to have.
Are you following him? Like, you
Oh
keep up with everything he's doing?
Hey, no, listen. I've been there since the beginning. He is monumental for me right now. Actually, right now, and in the there was a video you can go and see. It's like his early vlogs where he had the hand injury.
He's had broken the hand a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second time, or I think there were two major. Anyway, whatever this last one was, and it was like most people would have given up.
Yeah.
or it maybe stayed in,
Went into coaching,
but giving up the just for the lack of confidence. I can't imagine what it'd be like to throw a hand.
Because he's bound even now. He's bound to be thinking about that hand.
Well, yeah.
There has to be a hold back.
Well,
I don't know. Like,
on a much
neither
lesser.
do I, because here's the thing that got me about that. In these vlogs, like he's busted his hand up, and a load of people would have given up. And there's this video where they're doing their sprints and they're running up the hill, and all these other boys get to the top of the line. It's clearly the last of the sprints. And they're all down, hands on the knees, about to throw up. And he's there, arm in a cast, arms up, and screaming at them, arms in the air, boys. Arms in the air, boys. Because he's that championship mentality. And
I think he's genetically different.
To keep that, when he kept saying in the ring, he's like, it's already done up here. I just found that so inspiring to watch it and to watch him where he is now.
I've seen him with a cast on, doing pad work. So that he's got the cast on. I can't use this hand; it's completely gone, and he's still working.
Is he
away.
even dumbing that through? Is he on with a cast?
I think he's making sure that this side is the best it can possibly be if he's impaired by this. And so that kind of mentality is fucking scary.
What's your opinion now? Him with Usman Nurmagomedov?
I think he smashes Nurmagomedov, and I'm not saying that with. Obviously, I am biased as fuck. But if you break it down, so Khabib has come out recently and said that Ireland don't have fighters, which is an absolute fucking fallacy. Because I'm so deeply entrenched in MMA on this island. Off the top of my head, I can name you 10 world-class fighters that we have. And Paul Hughes, based on his last performance, for a lot of people, that was their first exposure to Paul Hughes. Yeah. For me, who's been watching him since he was a fucking amateur, I know what this young man is capable of. I've seen him. Like, even fights in Cage Wars against Jordan Vucinic, who is top tier. He was fighting like a fucking man possessed. Yeah. So, tonight, I almost feel...
That's a brutal fight.
I know, 5 rounds of just devastation. But I almost feel a slight smugness knowing what Paul Hughes is capable of. And the rest of the world...
Have we seen it yet?
There's still levels to that. This is the scary thing.
I think it's about to be. This is the test. This is what I think is exciting about this fight.
I genuinely believe this will be a fucking huge coming out party. This is where people realise that the hype is real, and there won't be any space left on the fucking hype train after this fight, because people will be jumping on left, right, and centre. And not only that, but he is so eloquent when you hear him interviewed. He cuts a great promo, which is something you need to do in this kind of modern era. So he has the potential to be a huge, genuinely huge breakout star. And again, with the slight Dagestan versus Ireland complexion,
he's leaning into it.
100%. I think it's going to be well interesting.
When is that? January, isn't it?
The 25th.
Yeah.
It is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not too far.
I know. I'm in the studio, so I'm gonna have to take a break.
And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy coming out of a great gym. His coaches, Liam Shannon and Pat McAllister, are two of the nicest guys you can meet.
We're trying to get Liam Shannon on the show.
Liam and Pat, we reached out to Liam and Pat, and I think they'd be great guys to talk to. But he was, I heard Paul talking a little bit about if he gets to headline Belfast, there's a rumour that he might have a particularly special walkout tune.
We've been talking about it for a while.
Have you?
No, I'm in. I'm in. I got some ideas.
Have you?
That'd be class. Like, so is anything written yet, or is it kind of in the embryonic? Is it in the embryonic stage?
I know where we're going with it for sure.
Cool.
That'd be huge.
He doesn't know anything yet. I'll just present it to him, and I reckon he'll like it. But
that could be the biggest fight night in the history of combat sports on this island. But my only worry is, will he be too big to headline a show in Belfast after this fight?
I think he'll even if like,
not his choice, obviously not his choice, but will the PFL or Bellator be saying?
I don't know how that works.
Do you know?
I watched stage. I mean, he's bound to have it now. That whole media management all around him, like he's bound to have all that there, and people tell him and advisors and shit. That's where it could probably That's where it could trip up, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's good to hear though. That's interesting to hear, because sometimes you don't know if you're biased. I don't understand.
You're allowed to be biased, man.
I know, but I don't understand the skill set as well as you would. But I'm looking at it and I'm going, if anyone can get this guy, if anyone's taking him, it's him.
If you think about his last performance against AJ McKee, now AJ McKee is a fucking stud comes from a fucking long line.
He didn't look like one, did he?
No, exactly. And it's
Bless him, like-
some idiot gave it a split decision, and that person should be fucking sacked from judging
That's
because
right,
it was a clear unanimous decision. But Paul was never under pressure in that fight. He fought brilliantly, and then that speaks to the fact that he made it look like that. Shows you just how good he is, because AJ McKee is top tier. I don't think he had been beaten in some like 20 odd fights or something like that. Yeah. So Paul to go in and do that was absolutely class. And I even just get, because obviously MMA is my thing, that's my field. I get so fucking excited about talking about fights. It just gives me fucking a wee buzz. But that's going to be cool. If something happens there and he comes back and he's able to headline a Belfast show, fuck.
When it looks good, it's kind of, because now, you know, having taken a few training videos to look back and see where you're going wrong. Yeah. I know what it can look like. You're like, wow, to be in there while someone's swinging at you. And not only keep your composure, but navigate what's coming and deliver back. It's like, there's so much going on.
The level of IQ necessary, and it's a completely different type of IQ. Fight IQ is on another level. Like you say, to be aware, okay, if he's throwing this, I need to slip. But then if he throws something, I need to roll, and to have that awareness in the fight. It's called a flow state. And that's what you get into, where it becomes second nature. You know yourself.
And you have to be listening to the corner man, and you have to be thinking to yourself, where's my...
There's so much fucking stimulus and so much information that you have to download and make these reads and everything. It's fucking crazy.
Differentiating between the different voices. That's not my guy. That's my guy. You know what I mean? It's a fucking... I love it, man. I love it.
But no, that'll be class, and it'll be historic. It's the biggest... for me, it is the biggest fight in Irish combat sports since McGregor Khabib. And I think that's going to be absolutely huge. Yeah. But what about you and martial arts?
Are you doing any boxing or anything at all? Because the last time me and you were kind of chatting, you'd been hitting pads and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I've got the speed bag in the garage now, and no, I'm. But
will you not come over and do a bit of training with Mr. Ian Mahood?
Listen, I'd love to. Yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to come back, and I'd love to have time to do a lot of things. You know what I mean? I think I'm at that stage now.
I know we've just got you passing through here, like so we'll have like. You know,
it's pretty fortuitous for us.
That's good.
Well, yeah, it's just like there isn't a day that isn't full of something. That's one of the downsides. Of
what stage? Sorry, Foy. What stage do you feel that you need to kind of, because you are constantly moving, you're on the road, you're recording, you're focused in this, do you ever think to yourself, I need to step out of this to start looking after myself a bit better, or and do you utilize that, or is it something that's just always sort of sitting here?
Do you take days off?
Tomorrow?
Days off, I mean, yeah, there are days where I don't have a gig, but if you're not at home, is it a day off?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, no, I would work out in the road. Bonnie and I. Bonnie's a great motivator. She's kind of
yoga and
the whole thing. Weights. She's big into free weights and just get the body moving, get sweating, get going, get in. You know, because I can get in my head. As we can.
And there's no better fucking therapy than just hitting
great.
the bag or
it's
fucking
great,
sparring or
hurting yourself for
or
a while.
swinging a kettlebell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love just hitting a heavy bag. Even just like 12 rounds on a heavy bag, even just wheeling away on it. And again, I always think there's any kind of working out, there's catharsis attached to it.
Yeah.
There's catharsis really attached to anything you do that you enjoy. Yeah. And you do feel a wee bit better for it. But hitting a heavy bag or even spar, have you sparred yet? Have you had the chance to get in and move around with somebody yet?
Yeah, I've sparred not in a couple of years. Yeah. And then before that, when I was like 12 to 14 boxing.
Different gravy.
Yeah.
I love
Which
it.
was basically just getting in with this big guy, Michael, who slapped the piss out of me.
Fuck you, Michael.
I think I was just a bit of a punch
bag. I've been trying to do a bit of training with Ian, and the boxing thing, man, it's taken me so it's still a fucking mystery.
Yeah, it is.
But when I don't have,
well, your issue is you're always trying to finish it on a kick.
You know what I mean. So I feel I fill every fucking moment with something, and then whenever you're not doing that, it's kind of your foot. Everything's just so fucking different, man. It's actually off-putting at times. You know what I mean? I did a bit of work with Ian, and Ian put a video up, and then I just looked terrible, and I was going, that's not how I usually look, is it? But it was because I was just this and this. You know what I mean? And what now? Do you know what I mean? It's hard. It's a lot harder.
The best thing that ever happened for my boxing was a knee injury. I got a knee injury, and I wasn't able to do jiu-jitsu. Wasn't able to grapple at all. So all I could focus on was stand up. And I'm by no means a good boxer by any stretch of the imagination, but my boxing improved leaps and bounds to the point where I began my career as more of a grappler and finished it as more of a striker, because it kind of came full circle. And there's something, boxing for me is, as much as I love MMA, boxing just has this cerebral quality to it.
There's an honor to it as well. There's a different type of honor to it.
I think I grew up in that era too. My dad was a big
getting you up at 2 a.m. to go and watch fucking Prince Nazim Hamid and all that there. That's what I used to think. Come on, you were
yeah, even older than that, man. But my dad was like, now this man's a fighter, and this man's a pugilist.
Right, okay.
Watch him.
Yeah. There's a distinct difference.
Watch him. And make me watch and see, who's doing what. So I grew up a big fan. I love watching mixed martial arts too.
Yeah.
It's just it's what a terrifying thing to do with your time.
Do you know what?
Fair play.
My thought, anytime, and again, I never fought on any kind of grandiose level or anything like that.
You fight amateur?
I fought amateur in MMA and pro bare knuckle. So when I always thought whether it was I boxed as well. So going into the cage or going into the ring, my last thought before stepping into the ropes was always, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I can imagine.
Desperately wishing I'd have been good at football, I can imagine. But then again, I loved it. I maybe akin to performing on stage. There was nothing like that feeling of getting your hand raised.
But where's the moment? Where's the moment? Because see, I think there's a very there's a link, very clear link between the flow state of fighting and the flow state of singing, performing anything actually for that matter, but on stage. So what's the moment then with bare knuckle? What's the moment that it goes from what am I doing to
how was that wee joint? All right,
to like I'm all right. Job.
Do you know what? It was only afterwards, because when you're in it, you don't see it. You don't know you're doing it again, because you're in the flow state. It becomes like you only know. I know the last bare knuckle fight I had, I only knew I was fighting well when I watched it back. Yeah. Because in that moment, I couldn't tell you that I slipped that punch, it looked great, then I threw this.
Oh, you're not thinking about that?
Yeah, I was like, then I made the conscious effort when I slipped that to throw the left hand.
But is it the first kind of slap on the bake that kind of wakes you up to all that?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Once you're in there and you realise you're in it, and it's just you, the guy, and the referee. But there's also a moment. There's also
really fucking hitting there.
There's also when the guy throws something. You see when you slip a punch and you know the guy's throwing everything into it, and you're like, "Fuck! If he'd have caught me with that."
And it's talking through your head.
You're actually thinking, "Fuck! If he'd have caught me with that, I'd have been knocked out." Fucking prick! All right, let's go.
Here, but with a bare knuckle, though, there's a different mindset. That
you're
very conscious of that top of your head. You're conscious of where you can hit, what's going to hurt your.
Plus, you're not going to throw it 100% clip in bare knuckle, or you're going to break your hand.
Bare knuckle, it is like you can't.
It's just your wrists are taped and the knuckles are free, and it's just boxing, but with no gloves.
But you can't.
No, you can't palm strike. So it's not like pancreas or anything like that. You're literally just there with the knuckles, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. But again, you can't throw 100%, or you're going to break your hands.
Will you ever fight again?
Me, I'm toying with the idea of maybe boxing again, but I would need to shift a lot of timber. Yeah, like I'm a thick boy now. Like I would need to get rid of.
Did you ever see the photographs of him ripped for his fights or anything?
What do you think I do when I'm at home?
He's a very wankable character.
Get a wee message. Phil, you look great in 2017.
Here, Lee, what's your main second? I'm just doing a bit of Googling here.
But no, again, it's probably akin to
tough wank up on
there. I wouldn't know what playing live feels like, but again, there's that moment of getting your hand raised, and it feels like the culmination of all the work you've done, and there feels like you do feel like a sense of accomplishment, which is class. But it's a load of fun, gentlemen. One thing I wanted to ask you both, because we don't want to keep you too much longer, mate, because we do appreciate your time.
Oh, we're in an hour here.
I know, we're fucking flying.
Where'd that time go?
Fucking flying through.
Well, don't make it like you're rushing it for me. I have all the time. My ferry's not till 3 a.m. I would stay here, folks. It's them. I've all the time in the world.
No, well, I'm fucking knackered. I was saying, I got to fucking 3 o'clock today, and I'm looking about and being like, fuck,
we a podcast to do.
This is when I usually have my nap. So, I love a wee nap.
Fuck me too.
Well, wanted to speak to you both about, obviously, success as a musician and a tattoo artist. Where do you find your contentment now?
Here.
Yeah, for you?
Oh, why?
Here?
Here. It's a sanctuary for me, this place.
Why?
Because right, so as far back as I can remember, always wanted to be a gangster. No, that's not true. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a tattoo artist. And I was always a good artist. So,
did that predate even musicianship?
Well, around about the same time as I ended up signed to Zenith Records, I was starting a tattoo as well. It's 20 years ago now, you know what I mean? So what happened for me was whenever things went wrong with the label, I kind of felt like I'd been cheated. So when I started tattooing, I'd always had it in my head that this was a second best.
Did you have a bit? Did you have a bit of resentment towards music?
I did. I had, you know what I mean? I did, because it felt like it came close to something, and then I got pulled from underneath me, which is fine. You know what I mean? At the time, that ruined the relationship. It kind of, my head wasn't right. Things just, but this was always like a second best thing. You know what I mean? So I always kind of had it in my head, fucking have to do this now because of that there. But now that it's all came full circle, and I'm not with the label anymore. This is lovely. This is perfect for me, and I love it, and I'm glad to be here. You know what I mean? I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. Even coming in the day after fucking Christmas holidays, I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? The kid is all fucking work today, and I'm like, yes,
we get to do this.
Let's fucking go. Phil should be in an Albany. You know what I mean? You know. So that's where I'm at with it. You know.
It's happy days. So that's
that.
You find you there is joy to be found here. Like I love this place.
Yeah.
To be
Where
fair,
do you find your contentment, Phil?
Oh, thank you for asking. I love my job. So I love what I do. I also find contentment in that, but I also feel now. So I'm 36 years of age. I'm kind of in the embryonic stages of a relationship as well, which is lovely, which I'm finding so much fucking joy in. And I have such a wonderful support network around me. So I've got the likes of Lee, the likes of Ian, my sister, my brother-in-law. And you see wee moments of just little things like, went to the cinema yesterday with a girl. And it was fun. I was just sitting watching the movie in the cinema, and it was just, I was like, this is fucking class. This is maybe stuff that I maybe didn't appreciate doing.
Yeah.
Maybe in my mid-20s or even very early 30s. So even little things like that. And I was saying to you earlier, just sitting watching a movie with this girl that I'm seeing in the cinema and just having like a hand on her and just feeling like that wee bit of closeness. That's fucking amazing. I was like just kind of like, this is really fucking cool. Yeah. So little things like that I feel like I'm starting to really, really appreciate, because I feel like everything else is kind of settled around me. I don't have the sort of the hectic sort of nature of being like, I need a job, I need a house, I need a car, blah, blah, blah. So now that those things are relatively settled, I do find myself appreciating stuff a wee bit.
And that's and I love not being the boss. I love not being the one in control. Do you know what I mean? Even today there, I mean, I did a tattoo, 150 quid or whatever. It says, that person put it in the Nikita's account. And she handed me 80 in cash, right? And I was like, where the fuck's the rest of it? She says, I keep the rest of it. I was like, what? Is this an allowance? Am I not the boss? You know what I mean?
Was that like your chair in?
Aye, must be, aye. But no, that's what I'm loving. I'm loving giving, not feeling the need to be in control of everything and micromanaging shit. Just kind of, I'm just like fucking cruising, and I love it. I love it. For the first time in my life, I'm happy just to sit back, have my friends around me, and let Nikita fucking direct where I should be driving. Do you know what I mean? That's great.
I do find myself now when I go out for lunch or something with the boys, or we go out for a drink, and even if I'm sitting having a non-alcoholic beer, the amount of times I find myself just sitting being like, this is lovely, isn't it, lads? And meaning it. Aye. And it's really, really nice.
Do you think there's a time comes whenever you're a bit older where you do learn to live in the moment? Because it's something that was fucking alien to me for a long time. I constantly just went through thinking to myself, what has to be done tomorrow? What has to be done the next day? What's this thing's hanging over me, that thing's hanging over me? Instead of just going, do you know what? None of that matters. It's just right here and now. None of that fucking matters a fuck. And that's something that took me a long time to get to this point, and I love it.
Well, for me, it was a conscious effort to maybe slow down a wee bit and appreciate stuff like that. But again, I'm
a lazy cunt. I never sped up.
I think it is a conscious effort in this kind of. Like you know what, there was an interview with Bill Murray. You were talking about Bill Murray earlier. I love him, and someone asked him, the question was something along the lines of, how'd you like to be remembered? And he thought for a second. And he said, you know what, I'd like to be remembered as the guy that he was really there. That guy was really here. And I think I think that takes a lot, I imagine, for him to live like that, and for any of us to try and live like that, and constantly being grateful. It is a lot of work, and it's very easy to get distracted with social media or with the designs on tomorrow or the payments on this, that, or the other. It's like,
or expectation.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's I don't think I'm stupid, but I think I'm naive. I think I was naive. I think I've been really, really kind of lucky. I know I keep saying luck, but my dad always used to say that about me. Foy, son, you could fall in shit and come out smelling the roses. Yeah, I've lost track of where we're going. You guys are keeping me too long.
Contentment. But you do you feel content?
Yeah,
I know it sounds like a simplistic question to ask.
Because there's no such thing as true happiness.
No, that's why
you can be happy with this part of your life and this part.
There are moments of happiness.
That's why I say
moments
contentment.
of happiness whenever you're in that moment that's making you happy. Yeah. But there's no such a thing. You can be content in your life. Because always there's going to be things there that aren't making you happy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to be said for contentment.
Absolutely.
I think people say content as if it's a negative. I think so. If you're content, I think that's fucking wonderful.
And if you're happy at certain moments, that's great. Yeah. Bliss is a thing that's too few and far between.
I've been mostly content, other than after releasing the first album, Hope. When that's when you realize what your designs actually were. Yeah. What you say they are. Yeah. And then what you were really hoping for.
Yeah. Two different things.
You get to know yourself real quick.
That's it. Because there's a big shining light on you.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah, and I think that's since that's what it took. Yeah, it took me 7 years to release another record. I was devastated. I was waiting for Oprah to call it. Is Oprah not calling?
Does she not?
She don't have my number. She was like +44. In our text.
You're fucking idiot.
You see, we're talking about expectation and kind of perception. Do you feel, both of you, and I know you've experienced this because we've talked about it, do you feel almost like a pressure that people have maybe a certain ideal of what you are, maybe who you are? Do you either feel like you have to play up to that or even fulfill an expectation, or did you ever feel that maybe in the early stages of your career?
Early stages, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head ever thinking that, I think that's, you know what? The way I came to songwriting transformed how I thought about music in general anyway.
Explain that a wee bit more for me, please.
Well, the short story is like, I was saying I used to make up songs. It was the 30th of January, 1999. And I was playing in a bar called the Jellyfish at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was making up this song, and the chorus was "Crying in the Night." And in the car on the way home, my wife at the time, Joanne, she said, "What was that song, Crying in the Night?" And I said, I don't know what it was, but it's like it was the first time that I had that kind of where it wouldn't go away. I couldn't stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? I couldn't get away. It was like, and I had a wild night. I was really upset that night. And didn't know why, but that song wouldn't go away. And then I woke up in the morning and found my phone, which I'd lost. And I still do that. And there were 14 missed calls, I'll never forget, all from home. And I called home, and it turns out, as I was singing that song, my dad had died here. Because
you were in Lanzarote.
I was in the Canary Islands, living in the Canary Islands. And so as I was writing that song, that song was coming, if you like, from wherever that is. He was dying. And I got off the phone with my mum, and I went out the back, and for the first time ever, I wrote all 4 verses of the song. I often explain it like this, and I wish I could think of a better analogy, but it was like throwing up.
Yeah.
It was like vomiting. It was just, and songs were like that for about 6 months more until I learned how to temper it a little bit and and kind of go, okay, I need time to sit down and do this. And but it was like really, it was pure catharsis, and any ideas of music being the thing to get me to the place where I had gone out the window.
Yeah. It was a very organic kind of process.
It was music had become my life raft. I was sinking.
Fuck.
And music was the only thing that, you know what I mean? It's,
You're some boy.
you know what? Not to put too fine a point on it or sound like some pretentious prick or whatever, but like music's a light, but what it illuminates, you can't talk about.
Yeah.
That makes, you know what I mean? Like it's a. I must be really high.
No, we're good. No, we understand you, man. I mean, even like, I mean, I didn't write songs that meant anything to me really for a long time. But when I started doing that, I don't understand what you're saying. There's stuff there that you want people to hear, but you don't really want to talk about why you wrote it. Do you know what I mean?
Is it because you don't want to expose yourself in that way?
There's a vulnerability
with
to songwriting. There's a vulnerability to somebody who's writing songs about themselves, honest songs, which I never done for a long time. And you know, even going on stage with you every night playing Barefoot in the Basement about Joanne. It was fucking tough the first couple of times, man, until I was able to step aside from it and go, okay, you're only singing this song. You don't, you know, you're going to feel it, but, you know, sing it and get it out. Because I was finding myself choking up. And I was finding myself choking up even listening to you. You know what I mean? I was just listening to you singing it and I was going, fuck me, how am I going to do this? But we do, you know what I mean? But I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't ask me any questions after, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something that the types? Do you find that people want to know the meanings behind songs?
No, I like people digging into their own thing and pulling out their own. Why they like the song, you know, could change if you tell them why you wrote it.
Yeah,
Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? So I like to let people kind of settle into, okay, this means that to me. That song has really helped me through this, and then I'll never say, actually, I wrote that. I would never do that.
Yeah.
I just sit back and go, class. You know what I mean? That makes me feel good. You know, and that's what it's all about. Isn't it? Yeah.
And what's coming up next for the two of you? What have you got in the pipeline? What have you any plans nailed on for the coming months, or what's happening that you can't talk about?
I can talk about whatever I want.
See, you're the boss. What's that like? What's it like being the boss?
See, as a heavily censored podcast, we need to be careful what we say. We can't say cunt or anything like. It's a nightmare.
I'm going in the studio.
Is this an album for
next
you?
Week, yeah, I'm making a new record. I'm excited about that, and just you carrying on the journey. It's like I don't want to tour as much as I used to tour. I used to put a record out and then 8 months of the year for the next couple of years.
Relentless.
There we go. I'm on the road now. I'm not doing that anymore. I have no interest in that. And it's not the bit that excites me. The bit that excites me, and I think that's part of the job, isn't it? Is to stay interested and stay. So, I've found that just being at home and making music and a lot of painting actually.
Are you doing a bit of painting, are you?
Weirdly, I'm finding as much. I never expected to find it as cathartic as I'm finding.
Watching out Foy Vance's worth, eh? I wonder watching out Foy Vance's worth.
You could do one for the studio here, just saying.
Well, I don't know if you'd like it.
Doesn't matter, just you fucking saying it. Doesn't matter what it looks like.
You give me some crayons, I'll do you one. Yeah. So record. I've just made. I produced the record for Bonnie Bishop, my girlfriend. She wasn't my girlfriend when we started making the record. I hope it's not like this every time I produce an album that they move in.
Yes, mate.
That could get complicated, couldn't it?
Just a wee bit.
Hey, Bonnie, this is. What did you? Fine singer.
Fucking hell. You should try having a girl tattoo.
So
that work out, Lee?
No.
That record's got to come out. That'll come out this year. And I've kind of set up a label. I mean, what does that mean anymore? Other than I've just said I've done it. Nothing. Actually, there you go. I've set up a label. Just say I've set up a label. That's it. Set up. But it's called "You're Never Gonna Make It" Records. I'm serious. My next signing is Ken Haddock. Yeah, I'm trying to sign people that were never going to make a record. So Bonnie wasn't going to make a record. She had given up on music. She'd given up on the industry, and she's a fine songwriter and an incredible singer. Yeah. But she'd given up on it. She was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do it. I'm a personal chef now for this guy that sold Zoom or something. I don't know what it was. Right. And she was happy. She was just like in the kitchen, happy.
She fucking met you.
Reading books. Yeah, and then I was, we wrote a song that kind of just stuck with me. I was like, flip a whole album like that now. That would be it. I've been looking for someone to work with, start to finish on a record, help them write it, and also help articulate it.
Right, okay.
I don't know why. I've stopped questioning why when desires come, I just try and follow them and see what happens.
I've done that before. It got me in a fuckload of trouble.
Right, I know. Tell me about it. Still making the payments. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought again.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
and what's coming up this year for you?
Fuck all, man. You're just going to tattoo and be happy?
I don't know. I think there's 1 or 2 wee things in the pipeline for you, mate. Can feel it.
We've spoke about this. The Revival TV show's a good one.
I can never get bored talking about this, mate.
Mate, so they've made a series from a fucking graphic novel, a bit like Walking Dead sort of shit. You know what I mean? So they're using a pile of my music on it, which is good. And if I can just see that would do me, you know. See if I could just get that every year, some news and fucking a pile of music, man, I'd be happy enough, you know. But it inspires you to keep writing new shit, then, you know what I mean, which I haven't really been doing.
And that's a shame.
Well, I've got a few things, but
yeah, we have a few things coming on.
You should definitely do it. I think everyone should write a song.
Fucking told every cunt he does anyway.
Oh, aye.
Lee Rose's co-writer.
I'm his ghostwriter. Don't want to take the credit, you know what I mean? I'm kind of just in the shadows there with pen and pad, being like, "This would sound good." But no, I had not think 2025 is going to be class for everybody. I just feel that there's a wee.
That's if the fucking aliens don't come. What's going on?
2020 thrive, baby.
Oh fuck, that's a T-shirt I want.
Well done.
But yeah, lads. Any closing sentiments? Anything anybody wants to?
All good. Just good to fucking see you again, man. And you're always welcome here. Or
it's good to be on because it's like it's hard for me to know. God's honest truth. It's hard for me to know if your podcast's even good or not because I just know. I know you.
So you're just laughing anyway.
No. I find it hilarious. But I'm thinking like, what I don't know. When I listen to you, because like I told you earlier, I've spent 16 hours with you. I've listened to every single podcast.
Well, that was the weird thing when you came in. We just shook hands as if I've just seen each other again. I was like, we've never actually.
I know.
Met.
I forgot we'd never met. So what am I trying to say? That sounded like a slight. No, what I'm saying
I know
is
you cheeky cunt.
It's hard for me to judge whether it's good or not because it's like I know you and I'm just laughing at the things that you're saying as well as some of the things maybe you're not saying. And I think it's kind of like I don't know if you remember CB radios. You remember?
Oh,
that?
I remember them.
You ever remember you get on the channel and you'd hear a couple of people chatting and you'd sit for a while. That's kind of what it's like tuning in with you guys. Like,
well, that's the reason why we've done it.
Do you know what?
To get chatting, man.
That's
conversation.
That's maybe the nicest compliment we've been paid about the podcast. To be fair, because this is just
it
an
might be
extension.
shit, but it reminds me of CB.
Oh, could we get that in a review? A 5-star review? But no, the reason for this podcast was literally us just to have a bit of back and forth.
Because we spoke about this 15 years ago.
15 years ago, in the old
in the band. That's what we called it back then. You know what I mean?
In the old studio, we'd spoke about this, and for it to come to fruition, and again for people to actually, because it just said to you before, like people stop and say, "Oh, listen to the podcast," not knowing that I'm an MMA commentator,
two headers,
maybe not knowing that I'm an MMA commentator, maybe not knowing that you're a musician, and they found their way to the podcast. That for me is fucking class.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so if the podcast is fucking the best we ever do, I'm happy enough, man. You know what I mean?
More than that.
It's something every time we're on mushrooms, we just look at each other and go, "We've got a podcast, mate.
Yeah.
What the fuck?"
Would you ever do a podcast on mushrooms?
You couldn't.
Oh, is that illegal?
We had thought before about doing it, and then we did.
Well,
because it's illegal, or because you just
no, because you're in another fucking dimension.
Mate, you couldn't do it.
That'd be. I'd watch that.
I'm sure you fucking would.
But no, if you even a couple of grams of mushrooms trying to do a podcast, man, it'd be. Oh no, it'd be.
Just end up sitting here looking at each other laughing.
Just giggling, me just holding your foot.
Well, what if just one of you does it?
Oh,
And then the
here.
other one just sort of
You're
watch.
talking about Jack. Why are you nodding, Jack?
Do you think one of us would let the other one do mushrooms and the other one not?
No. We'd
All
be,
right, you both do it and I'll watch.
Right, okay. We'll do that.
Foy Vance is our sitter on a mushroom trip. Fuck me.
Fuck, that'd be terrible. That would be terrible. That can't be a torture, wouldn't it?
That'd be hilarious. You go viral. Your podcast will be number one tomorrow.
I have this weird thing where if I'm on mushrooms and I've taken quite a bit, I just need to be holding his foot. I don't know what it is.
Nobody hear this. No, this is fucking true.
No, not in a weird way. It's not.
No, it is in a weird way.
No, it's not. I'm not putting him a fucking mouth.
No.
Mate, a couple of times I thought you were
Just holding your bare foot, for fuck's sake.
Yes, aye.
Nothing wrong with that. Like, give us your
Mate,
bare
I
foot.
was
Barefoot on the sofa, it's lovely.
Miles away, lying across the sofa, just on a journey in a different dimension, just fucking going through things and getting shown things, and the next thing I felt was this fucking hand in my foot starting to play my toes. I was like, what the fuck?
It's just comforting.
Do you know what I mean?
It's no. You're making it sound weird now, right? It's not. It's
I was just rubbing your toes on the sofa.
Mate, give us your foot. That's what he said to me. Give us your foot. Fuck off, fella. For fuck's sake. Give us your foot up, mate.
Just trying to get my wee finger into the sock to pull the sock off, just to be howling it.
Anyway, on that fucking bombshell.
No, usually what we do, we would usually say, where can people find you on socials? But I think you'll be okay,
You're
mate.
okay, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 17 of The Bat and the Bandit. Should we mention the podcast? Because we do this thing where if you mention the podcast, it doesn't get with the shadow banner. But
I don't give a fuck, man. Who cares now at this stage of the game? I'm just happy to be here with you.
But no, this is class. Episode 17. We didn't think we'd get this far.
Foy fucking Vance.
Yes.
My man.
Yes.
My man.
Genuinely, thank you so much.
Phil Campbell, that's something. Follow him at LROSRGNZ4Z.
He's doing it.
Why not just get like
Lee Rogers.
You know what I mean?
No, mate, because somebody's already got it.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Foy,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank
Lee
you.
Rogers, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 17 in the bag. See you next time. Woo!